Hi guys, some people wanted me to do a more elaborate night guide, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that. First off, I'll review the double axe, explain why it sucks. Okay, so this double axe is pretty slow. It's really hard to aim, simply because it's just a small little thing there. And honestly, it feels like this guy's axe, but it does a little bit more damage by like 10%, but it's got maybe double the reach, but also has half the speed. Like, rushing people like I was all up together in a group is usually really not going to work because I don't have the reach these guys do. I'm swinging the same speed, but I have half their reach. So more often than not, when I'm using this, I will end up not even reaching people. And just the swing time is so slow. More often than not, I can't even get a double. Then, furthermore, you know, I'm not going to be able to counter quick people, and I'm not going to be able to take advantage of the two-hander area of effect spam it like this through a crowd. Look, I missed him. I missed him again. And next we have the pole axe, or as I like to think of it, the wannabe vanguard. It is pretty much the same thing as a double axe, where it's just trading off speed for reach. And it has nowhere near the reach of any vanguard, and uses the same style, I believe, as the halberd. So more often than not, you're going to find yourself at a disadvantage against any halberd. More often than not, I think you're going to find yourself that you have not enough distance to its worth. So like in that, if I'd been using a halberd, I could have got them both, but instead I didn't get either one, and it resulted in me getting ganked from behind. Facing against someone, you know, who's a vanguard, I really don't have the reach to duel with them. I don't have the damage to duel with them, so I really just have to rush them. And what's the point of doing that when I could just do this instead? If I'm going to be rushed up, why would I even want to waste time using the primary? See, I could have hit him if I had halberd or sword, but I underestimated the range of this again. Third here is the bearded axe, which is pretty much identical in stats to the claymore. Only difference is it does 8% more damage for a little bit less reach, 3%, but you're also not going to get any, at least I would think there's not any, just based on the, you know, axe has no point. Again, this thing just feels like a neutered halberd to me. Or I'm not going to get the range or the speed I might normally get with the other ones, and I'm not going to get the damage that I'm going to get from, say, on top of that, like I said before, I don't have any, so like I hit that guy, it didn't even do any damage to him, but his outright me. Like, dueling two vanguards like this feels next to impossible, just because I don't have the speed that they do, I don't have the reach that they do, and I just can't keep up with them. Against someone who's using a smaller like this, I feel like I have some advantage, as long as I can keep them outside of my range. So like that would have normally killed them, and using this, and it just it doesn't take advantage of the knight's hit points to take a hit like that, to sacrifice it so that you can make a landing, and it's just self-defeating, I think. So like that would have been normally where I would have, I guess, as a halberd using Vanguard. But now here I have to try and like dance around inside them just to get into their attack zone. Then a lot of the time I just defend fast enough. So I honestly think you lack the damage and the reach and the speed of your feet to engage groups like this very well. Because you can't recover in time. It's like this guy with the halberd, he can just dance out of my X with his feet. If you have one or two people doing that, they can easily outmaneuver you as a Knigget. And I can't recover a lot of the time fast enough just to block. Alright, now we have the Warhammer. The Warhammer is basically a knife. It has crappy range. It is about 30-ish% slower. So you're really getting damage out of this, but I really don't think it's very good simply because the knight doesn't have the foot dexterity to duel with other characters in short range. This is, I think, more of like an oath to keep you alive at short range. It's actively like people with this just feels kind of silly. Anyone who's decent should be able to outduel you at this range. With faster ones. Like, see, if that was a knife, I probably could have got to him at that range, but instead I just took a hit in my face. Like, see, he's got more or less the same damage that I do, but he's got much more speed than I do. Same thing here. He's got range on me. It's really difficult to block with this. So, I usually just get outshined by anyone who's short range. Honestly, it still takes 3 hits to knight, just like any other. I might as well be using a claymore or something that has more range. Because that's not like I'm going to be able to AO affect, area of damage affect multiple people. Okay, it's not even this archer. The poke damage on it is ridiculously low. See, like that should have scored a hit with any other on 2 people, but instead I got nothing out of this piece of crap. So basically what this does is combines the knight's greatest weakness of not being able to move very fast with see, like, this is impossible to do. The only real hope you have is that you come in time before his stupid you just grind your way through it like a tank. See, I think the only way to really do any good at this is to get really up in people's faces. Seems to be you want to try and get in between people's attacks like that, since you can't really move. But the bad thing is that on a better player, they'll just stomp you in your face with an overhead like that.
No, my lord. No, my lord.
The only thing I think really good about this is that for some reason it seems to have a one-hit ability, where most of this size don't have that. So I think that's really your only hope close like this. Alright, next up is the Maul. The Maul does a lot of damage. It's really slow. It has decent reach. So this is where you're going to try and get your timings right, and if you screw up your timing at all, you're pretty much boned. If you have someone who can, decently parry you, it's going to be really difficult to do. If you're in a large group, unless you take out the group in good swings, pretty much you're just going to get overrun. You can't use this fast enough. So you have to try and get into the group, come through, and try and swipe them all out. But it's really difficult too. And if you get surrounded, it's hard to do anything in retaliation. For lots like that, you'd expect to in time, you're not going to be able to. So you're going to actually have to wind up before you come in and make sure that yours is there by the time they're winding up theirs, so that yours can just beat them just right before they actually swing. As long as you can get in time on the attacks and have it well timed, it pretty much will win almost everyone. Even then, it seems to miss a lot of the time. I'm not sure why. Maybe just the Maul end actually has the range object, and everything else doesn't, so maybe that's why it seems to miss people when it shouldn't. I knew you were hacking. Still almost lost. Alright, the Grand Mace. The Grand Mace is basically trading damage off for speed and giving you a little bit more reach. Often than not here, I find myself wishing I had more range with this. I think it's just its downfall. Like all the others compared to the Vanguard, it just feels like it's outranged. And just slow, and slowness against someone using a longer range feels just like it's complete against you if you try and combo. It just feels like I'm suffering from tiny weak syndrome. Alright, next up is the long. It's pretty much average in everything. It means you can usually pretty much any style you want and you'll do fairly decent in it. Means you don't really have to worry about being like one-handers. You can at least most people in two. You might have to do three, seeing that it only is 50% damage. Like honestly, these are a lot better than any of the other two hands, because I think the whole like symbol of this moving through the air, whatever you call it, the trackingness, I think all of it does damage, where a lot of the others only do damage, say, at the tip of the part. At least it just feels that way for me. just feels like you can move around better. I don't know. Like the tracking of the sword, I guess, when you're swinging it just feels more controllable. Next up, does a little bit less damage, more speed, a little bit less reach. It honestly feels like it swings slower than the others, and it just feels like it's lacking power. Because I often find myself facing someone, and I think they have gotten, but they actually don't actually have taken that much damage. So I'm repeating myself a little bit here. Hit this guy twice, and yet he wasn't like anywhere near being totally dead. He was like a good 30% health loss. See that one too. I would have normally have thought that would have killed him, but it didn't. I still the third time, and he's still alive. So I think the lack of, I don't know, finish movement on the sword or something that's making it feel slower, and the lack of damage just makes this thing feel like a second rate compared to the starting one. Honestly, don't like it at all. I would just probably stick with the starting one. Alright, the Messer. The Messer is much slower and has a much smaller reach. It does more damage here. That's really all it has going for it. So it's not much unlike the Maul. It's just more of a slash-based version. Where I don't think it really compares to the Vanguard here that he was using. 76, 34, 75. And the other one, your comparison is 60, 40, 40. So the other's a little bit slower than yours, but it outreaches yours by almost double. It's just like a crappy version of the Maul. Using this, I feel like I've lost my ability to duel in the middle like this, because it's too slow to more than one person at a time and still have time to cover myself like I was with the others. The intensity seems to be gone. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. And then someone with one of the others that has more reach and more speed just comes over and smacks the crap out of both of us. There's nothing we can do to retaliate in time. I can't seem to get a lot of double swings like I did before with the other sword either. See, I can't. I would have had the time to block that and try and swipe his feet like I did, but I can't with this. It's just too slow. Like here I am playing with the same exact people that I was playing with before, and with this I can't even keep up with them. Like I think there's even worse players here playing. I couldn't. Alright, here's the flail. The flail comes with the crappiest shield in the game. That is a horrible, horrible thing to have. So just based on that, I honestly think that the flail cannot ever really be a good, simply because the shield is unpredictable. It's easy to get over or under or around, so it makes it a really unpredictable way to defend yourself. It just feels really short. And the shield doesn't work. I think what this thing actually has going for it is it's got a really, really quick counter. But the bad thing is that you're coupled with the shield, which makes it really, really difficult. The wind-up speed on this does feel really fast. If that makes any sense. where like the time for it to get there and like a counter double work like that seems to be pretty fast. I'm not sure if it's like a set thing or if it's just kind of random. It's like that one felt pretty slow. Other times like that one felt really, really fast. Sometimes you hit people that doesn't even make sense that you hit them. So actually playing with this thing for a while, it feels like it's like it's actually not true to the thing here. Is incredibly inaccurate, so it doesn't really feel good. And it doesn't have the reach. So I think really the only purpose to use this thing is maybe if you're new and you're not really good at timing things, stuff like that. Or maybe if you plan on never blocking and just berserkering your way through stuff. Because honestly the recovery time on this is really, really poor. Because it'll already be all the way past your screen, and it takes like an extra 2 or 3 seconds for him to like redraw his arm back to his body. Like here I can't block. Can't block, can't block. Attack, can't block. I can block, I think right here, yeah. It has to actually, the shield actually has to come back into position before you can block. So it's got a humongously long block time. So as in regards of, say, then parrying like this is really terrible. But if you land a parry, the counter on this is awesome. So is the double speed on it. So this is when you're gonna want to be waiting to be it and then parrying off that. Not trying to make a hit and then parry, because you're going to be way too slow every single time. It might even be one of the slowest, if not the slowest, counter parry, whatever you call it, in the game. Looking at the stats here for the heavy flail, sure, why anyone in their right mind would use this. I mean, it gives you like 4 more damage and takes away some 9 speed or something, and it gives you 1 range. I don't see why this would possibly be better than the other one, but let's see. I'll look into it. So basically this flail is horrible. It's pretty much the worst combination possible. It's like this maul here that this guy's using, except it's maybe a little bit faster, about 20% or something, but it's got like half of his reach and half of his damage. So I have, as a knight, a slow-moving character that can't move very fast, a weapon that has no reach, and that has no speed. It's pretty much the worst combination possible. So this flail is horrible. Sometimes just to land a hit, I usually have to take a hit. Or unless it's against someone like this guy. Probably the best one is going to be the long. Honestly, it just feels more polished as a weapon, fast. Does a lot of damage, it has a huge reach, it just feels like it's the best. Hammer, well, it does a lot of one hit, it really feels neutered because of the whole reach scenario where you're just going to be reached by anyone from short range, and they're going to outspeed you as well. Bearded axe is kind of like the longsword here, but it lacks the poking damage that the longsword does. So I'm going to say the longsword still beats this. The only one I think might come close is the Grand Mace, but the Grand Mace is going to be a lot slower than the long is, and it's still probably not going to do as much poking damage as a long does. So I think almost in all scenarios, the long wins out is probably the best. These other ones, no, too slow, too slow, too slow, horrendously slow. It has strong points, but you can't really do too much damage with it, and you can't parry well because of the shield. But if you do manage to parry, you're going to do really well with it. Maul, it's got its moments. It really suffers in groups where you're not going to be able to everyone at once, where the longer you could. So this one might be an area of effect spam thing, but it does feel again like the reach is too small. It's 40 and this almost has 20 on that, so feels like crap, kind of okay, pretty good, best, crap, really crap. Hope you like the guide. Hope it helps you out a little bit. Next guide, I guess I'll go over the secondary. This is going to take me a little while. I got school and everything. I hope this guide has helped you learn more why all these mostly suck and why a knight sucks in general. At least for primaries. I haven't really looked into the secondary, but I'll go ahead and do that in the next video. But I hope this was enough information for you guys, spread out in like a half an hour video. What I tried to make people understand kind of in a what was it, like a 3-minute video. Hopefully this is enough to understand my point of why everything sucks, I guess. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like the video, and check out my channel, and I should have more guides up soon. Got guides for the other classes as well. See you later.